Hello and welcome to Capital Market Live on Channels Television. I'm Will Ibong, and as always, let's check in on the markets. We begin with Europe, where markets retreated on Friday, tracking global caution after Wall Street posted its worst day since 2020. All key indexes we track were down more than 1%. The UK's FTSE 100 dropped 1.54%. France's CAC 40 fell 1.73%, while the German DAX declined by 1.64%. Monetary policy remains a key dictator of market sentiment. The global bond yields have surged in recent weeks as investors react to interest rate hikes from the Fed and the Bank of England. The European Central Bank has yet to follow suit, but momentum appears to be building for a summer hike. Investors are also monitoring Russia's progress in eastern and southern Ukraine, and its forces appear to have escalated assaults in the region. Now to Asia, where shares in Asia Pacific were largely declining on Friday, after an overnight drop on Wall Street sent the Dow Jones Industrial Average to its worst day since 2020. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index led losses regionally as it fell 3.81% to close. In mainland China, the Shanghai Composite slipped 2.16% to end the trading day. Japanese stocks bucked the overall trend regionally as they returned to trade on Friday after being closed for holidays for most of this week. The Nikkei 225 closed 0.69 higher at 27,003.56 points. Now, stocks lost ground in the U.S. Choppy trading was seen on Friday as investors struggled to find a floor after a dramatic week that saw the Dow Jones Industrial Average post both its best and worst days since 2020. The S&P 500 shed 0.57% to close, while the Nasdaq Composite fell 1.4% and the Dow shed 0.3%. The losses on Friday clinched a losing week for all three major indexes, despite starting off the period with three straight positive sessions. The moves came after stocks sold off sharply on Thursday. The Dow lost more than 1,000 points, and the tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite fell nearly 5%. Both indexes notched their worst single-day drop since 2020. The S&P 500 fell 3.56%, its second worst day of the year. Now back home, the bullish momentum in the equities market was sustained despite the two-day public holidays as bargain hunting activities in blue-chip stocks pushed the all-share index above the 50,000 level to close at 50,937.01 points, the highest level since March 2008, that's about 14 years ago. A fresh high there. Investors' demand for bellwether stocks. We saw Presco, Guinness, Nigerian breweries, Okomu Oil, Boa Cement, and MTN Nigeria driving the benchmark index 2.6% higher. Now, month-to-date and year-to-date gains increased to 2.6% and 19.2% respectively. However, activity levels were weaker in the prior week. In this week than in the prior week, we saw volume and value traded decrease by 24.6% and 16.9% each week on week. Sectoral performance was mostly positive as the consumer goods, industrial goods, banking indexes advanced, while insurance and oil and gas counters closed in the red. Now, Champion Breweries topped the gainers chart for the week, while O&O led the laggards. The trio of Union Bank, FCMB Group, and Transnational Corporation PLC contributed 34.26% and 11.89% to the total volume and value traded in the week. Similarly, at the unlisted equities market, as the NASD Securities Exchange Index closed the week positive, the NASD Securities Index rose by 1.33%. The exchange gained about 12 billion naira in value. However, there was a drop in total turnover. Volume and value traded for the week fell to 2.05 million units and 176 million naira each. Friesland Campina Wamco Nigeria led the gainers, while Central Securities Clearing System, that's the CSCS, led the decliners. Meanwhile, Friesland, Campina, Wamco, and 11 PLC were among top stocks traded by volume for the week. Now joining me to review markets, the activities, the equities, and the boom we've seen is Mr. Ambrose Omodion, Chief Research Officer at Invest Data Consulting Limited. Good to speak to you, Ambrose.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Now, Ambrose, the equities market has done it again. We've seen it crossing milestones. Last week we saw, it leaped to the 49,000 level, 50,000 level. Now we're nearly at the 51,000 level, and we're at the 27,000 level. I mean, mark, the trillion naira mark right now. This is phenomenal for the equities market. And I saw someone saying that the caption that said that the equities market is in a world of its own. It's like it's trading. We're seeing global markets, trading, downwards. The equities market in Nigeria is going upwards. So what's really happening? What's going on there?
Actually, if you look at our market right from session, yes, we have a foreign influence, but our market has a way of taking its own pace at its own time. What is happening now is not surprise to us back here, because we know that our earnings compared to what we are seeing in the mature market, they differ. Yes, we see that the big names in US, their earnings, their tech companies are posting decline numbers. While here we are seeing a positive numbers. And that tells you that investors here are becoming more savvy and more intelligent to know that this is a time for them to position in good stock. And so don't forget that also we have about new stock that were listed on the exchange that also supported our index. And also when the market crashed in 2008, today there are some companies in Nigeria that have been consistent in dividend payment that also supported their price to recover fully. Now we are seeing those performance imparting on those companies. That's why we are seeing that our index is just keep on moving up. Even after yesterday, almost tested 51 before it came down. But I believe that by next week, as we're having a full trading, we just had about 3 trading days for this Rwanda review. Next week, because companies are not doing, a lot of companies or traders are looking at digesting the numbers that came to the market to know where they should position. And don't forget that where you have the PFAs, seeing what is happening in the physical market. Yes, they are looking at opportunity to hedge against inflation in equity. And also, even when the foreign market has increased their interest rate, because we don't have those foreign investors participating much in our market, it has not affected our market. That is why I always campaign that SEC or other regulators should do more to invite more Nigerians into the market. Let's deepen the market with more participants. Because if you had to before, where you have hiked your interest rate in international market, our markets have been bleeding as we speak now. But because we have more local players in the market become a bit stable, and that will give confidence to investors that they can plan with our local market because of their future. But before, when you see them going, our market will bleeding, it tells you that now we are getting it right gradually. I believe that SEC also look inward and say that, oh, this is time to take education to the public. Let them come more to the market. We have more Nigerians, a population of almost 200 million, less than 10 million in the market. That means, for me, it's not encouraging. We can bring more. That means our market will become more robust for everybody to play, because we are seeing that the market already creating wealth for the signing investor.
Okay, so talking about that, we're seeing year-to-date gain at 19%. I think this is really high. And last month, in April, we had almost 5.7% high for month-to-date return. That's the highest we've even seen, like, for this year. And now we are at 2.6 already. How do you see this trajectory, this trend going? Do you see it going higher, or do you see it being sustained? Because we take it into consideration, the elections coming. Are there not going to be like election jitters going to make investors pull back their resources or their investments and probably just take, caution as to where they put their money or keep their money?
Yeah, your question is very right. But let's look at it this way. In December, market was supposed to be up, market was down. We didn't see anything like a spectacular rally in December 2021. But in November, we saw the market was up. But in January, the market recovered fully what a loss in December. That was sustained in February. But in March, there was a little pullback, profit taking. But in April, those earnings that came to the market, took the trend of what we saw in 2020, telling that those companies are becoming better, even in a pre-election year, and the trend happening globally. That is what is giving investors real kind of encouragement, knowing that the earnings yield of this company are more than what the fixed income market is giving. It's about money looking for where there's better return and where there's what called safe haven. Knowing that as far as inflation is taking up in Nigeria, those fixed income positions, or some of them, some of their instruments are already in red position. If inflation is going to become a deep red, for that they are starting to balance their portfolio, moving some long-term bond or long cover investment to come to where they can protect their fund and at the same time make money. That's why I see they are looking the way of equity. It is that liquidity that is moving to the market. And also during any season, anytime in the market, anywhere in the world, during any season, you see more liquidity in the market, you see more price going up because people are doing what called portfolio reshuffling. Look at the numbers that people have done well, selling the one that have done badly to buy the one that have done well. Okay. You see the liquidity in that period. That is why any season is very good for every investor to look at, because at that time there's what called portfolio reshuffling. Funds are coming, demand for stock are there. That is why you see that of liquidity. And don't forget that these PFAs or the institutional investor, they have the capital or the fund to play the market. And when they are buying, you must feed their impact. I tell you that what we are seeing is just, for me, is just a little, because they don't just rush into the market when others are rushing the market. They have to take time to do diligence on the numbers they are seeing before they start buying. What we are seeing is just retail investors trying to take position. But once all these PFAs or international investors sit down, do the diligence, digest the numbers, when they are coming back, you see they target those companies that has good fundamental and position that will put the price further up. That's why I said life of Airtel, they have not reached the result. Airtel by 11th of May, results will become hitting the market. Once they come and the number is positive again, expect it to be positive because we know what is happening globally in the world, that digital economy is what we are going to. And demand for data and all is high. That means Airtel will also bring a good result. That also drag the market up because Airtel is one of the stocks that push the index. And when it move further to either 1,400, 1,500, market will move in that direction. For that, expect that this market will even cross the 51,000 mark. Because I see that the next resistance level or key levels are around the 51,200. One market break it out again, another journey of uptrend will continue.
Oh, that's great. Now, talking about telecom sector, we've seen in the news about the, proposed hike or, from the telecom companies. And then we saw a spike in MTN Nigeria, the stocks of MTN Nigeria. Are people positioning ahead of this? Are investors looking to profit from this?
Actually, if you look at the operation of telecom, you and I, even when they increase to either 40% tariff, you wouldn't know, I don't know. Because even today, you recharge your card, once you are calling, once it's off, it's off. We don't know whether you are spending the whole thing. That means they are the one control. Now, if they want to increase, that will be more revenue for them. And don't forget that anything to do with hello, call, you are really communicating. And people want to do that regularly. They don't want to travel from here to Abuja for just to make a call. You want to make a call, you want to be on the internet. Even though some people are watching us on their data, that means there is a market for those sector already. For me, it's a good sector that anyone that has GSM or has any line, if you have MTN stock or Airtel stock and you are calling, you are doing yourself, you are doing yourself favor. You must, invest in it because as you are consuming, so that at the end of the day you can get something back in terms of dividend or return on investment because it has come to stay. As far as it has come to stay, communication is very important. And for me, that is why people are already looking at it. But as we speak now, if you look at the volume that came to MTN 2 days ago, it tells you that it is not retail investor that is buying. Don't forget that in their last offer for sale, the institutional investor were giving just 70% of their, of their allotment. They were not giving full. Now, see opportunity that the company have posted impressive Q1 number. They paid good dividend for 2021. And their second quarter is already in May. By around July, we've seen the second quarter. They only take position ahead of the second quarter number. That's why we've seen those institutional investors are the one buying. And when they do more dividend on the number, you see they also do the same thing for Airtel. That means the market for me, it is this key stock that are controlling 70% of the index are the one driving the market. But the good thing is that when they are going up, they're going to drag other low cap or medium cap up because it's an uptrend. The improved market will not remain where it is. As it's going up, other stock will follow that move. That is why once the market is coming down too, they're going to drag others down. That means for investors in the market, just know that you're in the market to make money, but don't be greedy. Just have your plan that your entry strategy and your exit strategy. Have a stop loss that, okay, if I meet this target, I will exit my position. Don't be carried with the market direction. Market is galloping up because when market is galloping like this, I think I can still come back. That means don't say because market is going on, let me just relax and be rolling my chair.
Fall into a bear trap or something.
Yeah, that is why you need to take profit as I went to. But also there's a strategy that you want to take profit in some stock that have good fundamental slowly.
We'll depending talk about that. Yeah, we'll have more on that conversation. But still talking about the Q1 earnings, MTN, I want to talk about their share price. The MTN stock price, when they offered that public offer was at 169, and now they're trading at 270. How much is that stock price right now? 227.40. For me, people that bought the offer, they have made money in less than 6 months, and that is investment for you. So Okomu Oil is also one of the stocks that have actually appreciated in stock value. Look at from 149 or 147 to about 160 something.
170.
Now so 170 at the moment. Yeah. So what is really, is it because of people or the global drive for commodities now, investment in commodities that is driving in Okomu and Presco right now? Investors are like that. The toast of investors at the moment.
Post-COVID shift, companies in Nigeria have performed well. I will tell you, we are seeing good numbers emerging from our companies listed on the exchange, which is good. And also, don't forget that with this issue of Russia and Ukraine, most countries that are into palm oil business, they are not exporting their palm oil again. They're trying to feed themselves first. Looking what? Like Indonesia, like Malaysia. Malaysia said, okay, let's take care of our people first. Indonesia, let's take care. But also in Malaysia, they're having some drought in terms of production. Then, for me, in Nigeria, Okomu and the press school in Nigeria are taking advantage of that to export. And when they export it, they are earning also FS in the process. And also, the Nigerian market is not enough to take what they have already, because even Nigeria knows for them to be. But if they are not exporting, that is why you can see a geometrical increase in their performance, because they are earning forex. At the same time, there is market for their product. You remember when there was a lockdown, or when there was a border closure. One of the MD of these two said they have order for the next 3 years that they need to meet, that even what they have come with order. That means they have market already. And don't forget also that price of those products has also moved up. As at 2021, price of palm oil is about either 15 or 12,000. As we speak now, around 27, 25. So that increase in price also is a plus for them, because as you're increasing price of your product and your consumers are still purchasing, you are making more money already. What, in your opinion, what are these numbers investors should be and traders should look out for in the markets? When it comes to number, I tell you that number don't lie. Let's take that number of the way it's going. When you read number today, come and read number the next day. That means number is what is happening. When it comes to number in equity investment, we have three categories of number when we invest in. One is number emanating from the listed company, the quoted companies. That number that coming from them. One is one generated by demand and supply. That one comes from the market itself. That is the NGS. Then what we call derived number is one that when you combine the one that comes from the company and the one NGS, that will have derived number. The one that comes from the company, what we call the earnings. We talk about it, the top, say the sales, the revenue, talk about the EPS, talk about the profit after tax, all is from the company. And that is what we call numbers emanating from what quoted companies. The one that comes from the exchange itself is the demand and supply, is the D, the price and the volume. Because for technicians, price and volume is what we look at. But for fundamentals, they look at what? The earnings. Then for you to get derived number, we have a P ratio. The P ratio, you are taking the earnings from the companies and matching it to get to the price. That will now get a P ratio that tells you how long it takes for you to recoup your investment. You now have price to book. All those ones are what called derived number. But for an investor to make use of these numbers, you need to know, is the company numbers consistent? Is it trending up or declining? What is the quality of this number? Is it a number that expenses or cost has depressed the number, the end at the end of the day? You need to look at the track to find out. Okay, when does it hit the market? Are they regular in releasing their number? Okay, when is it trending up or trending down? Another thing you want to look at, in the group or industry where it is, are they a leader or a lagger in the industry? That also help you as an investor. And at the same time, you want I'm a long-term investor whose stock has that, fundamental that will take me up. But for those that are technicians, because they're also using number, you want to look at the volume and the price and the div. Because for me, if a stock is going up, you must have volume supporting it. And if for you to say a company is doing well, earnings will be looking up. And you as a trader or investor, you need to combine the earnings, the volume, and the price to make investment decision. That's why I say when price is trending up, volume is going up, and earnings is going up, that means that company is a tool for you to put your money. Because either it's a small cap or a large cap, as far as growing its earnings, if there's volume, people are demanding, that volume is that people are buying it. That volume comes from people in the market, traders in the market. If the volume is going up, price is going up, and earnings is going up, that is a better stock to be. Then if you want to bring other strategies, look at what is the sentiment in that stock. Is it positive sentiment? Okay, you now look at other techniques to see, is fund flowing into it, which is what your what we call money flowing index will tell you whether fund is entering. But as far as you are seeing price is going up, earnings is going up, volume is going up, it tells the prices funds are already entering the stock. Are there any examples you want to give, maybe like company stocks that you want to use to give, give this example for example, for example, let's look at the life of Okomu. Okomu, I said Okomu before now, even before the markdown, at the beginning of this year, it's around 142. At the beginning of this year, as we speak now, it's trading around what? 170. You ask yourself, what have moved this price up? One, the positive earnings that are emanating from Okomu, one. And also because you are seeing volume showing that people are buying Okomu, is two. And also the earnings and the price are looking up. See, volume is looking up, earnings looking up. It tells you that there's something happening in that Okomu. That is why even though you're a long-term investor, a trader, sometimes you know that there's something happening here. Also, if you look at life of, let's go back, life of Vitafoam. Vitafoam 2 years ago was selling, 3 years ago was selling around 10 naira 40 kobo. This stock is selling for 24 naira as we speak now. In 3 years ago, that's that what I moved this way is not magic. It's because the earnings of Vitafoam consistently was improving, and people were taking position also as improving. There was two things that are very important. Price was going up, volume was going up, and earnings was going up. If these three things are complete in the stock, we are good to go.
Okay.
And I don't do it because my friend is investing there. No, the name of the company does not matter. What matters is that what is the scorecard? Because if you want to see whether a company is doing well, it is not whether it's being managed by a white man or a black man. The scorecard is the earnings of the company. That how have they fared? If they know they are creating more product, at the end of the day, it will come to see the earnings. That is the scorecard, to see whether this company have fared well for that quarter or for the year. Once they are doing well for the quarter or for the year, it's a signal that this is where you put your money. Don't just follow bandwagon because my friend worked there or because somebody said, but no, you must look at this thing you're going to look at is these numbers we are saying is what you should put your eyes on.
So what about Dangote Cement? Dangote Cement also pushed the market this week. Do you want to talk about that? And
Dangote for me
was, how was their earnings?
Dangote for me is a leader on its own. That's why I mentioned leader or lager. In the industry where it's a leader, and the earnings are also put that it's a leader. And that is the second company that is doing what we call share buyback. It's practiced all over the world as a way of improving your shares. And when you are buying back, you are using your share in issue. It's going to support your earnings. Dangote first quarter, as we speak now, is almost around 6 naira, 12 kobo earning per share. And performance is looking up as we speak. Price is looking up and volume is looking up. This is a stock that after the end of the year, around the either 260 or 265. As we speak now, it's almost at 292.4. It that it is not magic. It is because people are seeing value in this stock. What is this value? It is the earnings. And also don't forget that after COVID-19, a lot of construction activities has also come back. That means people are on the site. And government also want to make sure that we have good infrastructure to drive the economy. That means there will be demand for all those cement-related businesses. That is why you see the life of Boa Cement, Lafarge, and Dangote Cement. Their performance is on the uptrend because the industry also is being favored because activities is going on. Most state government are constructing road, and also being pre-election year. Let me tell you one thing: being pre-election year, every either governor or whoever want to make sure that as far they have project they are doing, they want to create that project before the next campaign starts. Okay, and for that, there will be demand for all those products that this project is complete. For that, they will say for this market. And don't forget also, I told you that when you're able to push your price to the consumers, you make money. This sector have successfully increased price of cement. Cement before is around either 2,000 naira, before it's almost at 5,000 naira. That's almost 100% increase. That is going to reflect on the top line of this company, also impact their bottom line. As far as the earnings is going up, price is going up, it tells you that is the place to be.
Okay, so you talked about construction, and Julius Berger is one of the big constructors we have, and we saw the phenomenal growth in their revenue. 2021 they had a 52.32% jump. So how do you explain that? And are investors, should they position in that stock?
No, just like what we just said now, any investor that is listening to us, you know that what does they have to invest? It just have to investment. Look at a company that consistently improved their earnings. Continually, their price is going up and volume is going up, and there's positive sentiment for that sector. As I speak now, I mentioned Dangote Cement, WAPCO, and then coming to Julius Berger. You see, this is the most popular or strong construction company in Nigeria. Both the private sector are patronizing them, government and all. For me, it's a company that one should put their eyes. As I think I started yesterday, President was promising that they want to reduce the housing gap in Nigeria. Is it by just closing? There's a company that want to do that housing. That is why what is also happening in Ukraine and in Russia. I'm telling you, other countries that are going to benefit already sitting working, because after the whole thing, they're going to rebuild that country. It's going to be activities for construction company and all those places there. For me, as far as we're having infrastructure gap in Nigeria, the life of Julius Berger, Dangote, Boa, and Lafarge are a place you should look at, because there will be activity, there will be demand for their product. For me, that is where investors should look at. Okay,
so very quickly, in very, very quick words, what's the difference between the earnings season and the normal trading season for investors that want to, put their money, that trade with numbers and put their money right?
You are very correct. Earnings season comes, 4 times in a year, at the end of every three quarter. That is why if you send your child to school at the end of the 3 times, you also bring a report card for you. All these companies, at the end of 3 months, they tell the shareholder, this is how we have performed, this is what we have done, how we have used your resources you have given to us to manage, to lose what to achieve. That is why, as investor, whether it is normal market, you can see price going up and down, fine. But when it's any season, liquidity will come out. demand will come out because people want to look at what I've invested, how has the company performed. And when they are talking out good numbers, people have to react to that. That's what will happen. Any season comes at the end of every, like company that has December as year end. The first quarter will end in March. Then they release their first quarter in April. That means for first quarter earnings for that means April will be the earnings season. And most companies on the exchange has December as year end. That means in April, we'll see their Q1 in April. That is for first quarter. Okay. Then as at end of June again, in July, we'll see also what their number. That is another earnings season. That is second quarter earnings season. Okay. Then at the end of also September, you now be seeing third quarter in October. Then why the full year for that you come in between January and March in the upper year. But they say law that if you want to release unaudited account at the end of the year, you have 30 days to release. That will come in January for those that are. Then if you want to release audited account, you have either 60 days or 90 days, depending on your choice.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ambrose Amodian, Chief Research Officer at Invest Data Consulting Limited. Thank you so much for coming on Capital Markets.
Thanks for having me.
And that's it on Capital Markets. Do join us same time next week. I'm Will Ibong. Thanks for watching.